they're going to win that game, I think.
We are going
2-1.
We are going to win the 2-1.
2-1 Manchester City. I know Aston fans wanted to come closer, but we need to push. By the way, we need to push pain to our haters.
Hey, everybody welcome. Everybody to the fun.
For the fans, by the fans, this is the fan bench and something that you should not miss, especially for us, no fans. This is your best time. The fan bench. Kubanga big things are going to happen. Timu y'abantu ngemaze okuwangula ebintu. So follow us on our social media platforms at The Fan Bench. That is, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Comment, like, follow, and we see the love that you guys obviously keep giving us on all our social media platforms, on our X platforms at The Fan Bench Uganda, and then of course TikTok, where most of you show us the love, that is at The Fan Bench. My name is Biggie, and I'm here with Kevin. Rightly so, for I know because we're the ones chasing the big things. Manchester City on the course to maybe win a domestic treble. I do not know whether they still think that they can win the Premier League this season. It's something that I need to hear from other people. And then, what surprises me about football is that there is someone's boyfriend out there who still thinks that Aston is not going to win the Premier League. You dump that nigga. He's so idiotic. Just dump him. There is someone's boyfriend who still thinks Aston's not going to win the Premier League this season.
I'm not that boyfriend.
Agenda kera kumande, agambe Burnley kuva buto.
I am not that boyfriend.
I know that football is funny and everything, but Burnley kuva buto, sincerely. By the way, after Arsenal won that West Ham game, personally I'm an Arsenal fan, it's one of the games that really was giving me the chills. I was like, how are we going to survive this Burnley team? I mean, this West Ham team, especially after they lost. Their previous game was against Brentford, I think. Okay. Yes, they lost 3-0. And I was like, now it is going to be a real problem as to going to the London Stadium and get 3 points.
It was
in fact, I was going to say, because someone made a statement and said, if you don't beat West Ham, then perhaps you don't deserve to be champions. And I'm like, when you think about it, it's right. It is true. Because West Ham can have whatever they are having, being in a relegation battle. Yeah. But you're fighting to be to be champion. So the best thing you can do, number one on top, versing the last position, you expect that you come out on top regardless. Yeah. And I think Arteta just did right. And of course the controversies that are around with the goal. But guys, we should accept that I don't think there is a Premier League winning team that hasn't had referee decisions on its side.
Every team has faced those
every single team.
Everyone has been touched.
And people will say, "Oh, no cheating." It's like they cannot cheat for someone.
You know the funny thing with those controversies is that when it is positive on your end, you will not complain, bro.
Exactly. So
but then when it is
corruption, I'm involved, I don't see it.
I don't see it. But when
I have to see it when I'm. And people have to understand is also. Cheating. I don't think they cheat for someone. They can't cheat for you when you're in fifth.
It is not cheating.
To win the Premier League. I think luck finds those who are best placed to find it.
Yeah, but there are a lot of pinpoint areas.
They have to pinpoint. You look at the goal, everyone agrees that it is a foul. I also agree with the rival fans that are saying, but Arsenal has been doing it the entire season and haven't been fouling it. But in this entire season, or in that particular season, I think VAR, that's the biggest moment for VAR. Is history ever since it came on. Yeah. Because I think Darren England is looking at it and accepting it. Oh, this is a foul.
This was a foul.
It is a serious foul and you have to look at it and not give it. Yeah. And I think that's a decision he made. He's a brave guy, by the way. Right decision.
So to you, it means making that call at that moment in the West Ham game was more crucial than anywhere else in the point of the season.
Because I feel like if they put Manchester United fans would complain that, Saliba had a foul on our goalkeeper, Altai, at the beginning of the season. But the season has just begun. He doesn't even yet defined anything. Referees can decide to do whatever they want because it's not deciding anything.
Yeah, but still, I would agree
they're looking at it they're looking at it in a title race. What could have caused more news is the referee not giving that as a foul, because they will be like, the reason Arsenal will not win the Premier League is because of Darren England, Chris Kavanagh, especially when people and everyone thinks that, VAR is against Arsenal or something. Something happens and they don't give it, which was a clear foul. Yeah. So you understand the impact of that particular time, what it meant. If they don't give it in match week 12, someone would say, those 4 points, but you have time to recover. You have time to recover those points midway. So that is what it means. That is what it means to people. So Arsenal take all 3 points, 2 games left, 5 points clear of Manchester City. Manchester City have to play their game in hand, that is against Crystal Palace. And I'm one of those Arsenal fans who is not worried about Manchester City losing or what, or dropping points, because it's in our hands. You just win the 2 games, with the Manchester City win all the 3. Arsenal still remain
But you know,
champions.
football is football.
Football is football.
And Burnley, as much as I know Burnley will not do anything. Burnley will not do anything at any one point. But then football is a funny sport. Goals alawa.
I think their game of the weekend, they're drawing 2-2 against Aston Villa. And I'm like, maybe it's because they're at the Turf Moor. They drew at the Turf Moor against Manchester United, I think, this season. And sometimes what is difficult in the title race are away games.
Yeah.
That's why, as much as you think Crystal Palace will be preparing for a final, you look at it, 1, as an away game, 2, as a London derby. Everything comes across. Away games are difficult in the title race. You saw how the West Ham game was. Yeah. You saw how difficult the Everton game was for Manchester City, and then Manchester City come and blow away Brentford at home with 3-0. Yeah. Same thing Arsenal did, blowing away Fulham with 3-0. But the away games, Arsenal almost lost points away from home. Manchester City lost points away from home. And I think for Manchester City, the Bournemouth game is going to be quite difficult because it's an away game.
It's going to be very hard. It's going to be a very hard game because Bournemouth is really right now on, I won't say the form of like really good form, but then they're at that stage where they do not want to drop any points, want to stay closer to Europe. It will be, I think, their first time going to Europe. So I do not see them.
And potentially they can, if they beat, I think they're playing Manchester City next.
Yeah.
If they beat Manchester City, because they're now 4 points behind, 4 points behind Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And then they'll be looking at their last game, though. Aston Villa has to play both Liverpool and Manchester City.
I do not know what Aston Villa is playing right now, because Aston Villa looks like it has nothing to play for.
Yeah, final.
It has a final.
They're playing against Freiburg, and every English team has the highest chance. Okay, apart from the Champions League game final, because PSG, I think, are the best team in Europe right now. But when you look at Aston Villa and you're putting them against Freiburg, geez, you think they're going to have another big win, like 4-0 in that final. So Unai Emery, being a specialist in the Champions, in the Europa League, he almost feels like I can get a win and play Champions League football. The only problem with that, I saw somewhere, I didn't understand that whole thing of, for England to get another spot in the Premier League, like for to get in the Champions League. Over maybe a 7th team. Aston Villa have to be specifically 5th.
They have to. Aston Villa.
Not 4th.
Yeah, not
6th.
Not 6th. 5th.
Only 5th.
Because it is the guaranteed 5 spots that are there. Yeah. If they are guaranteed 5 spots that are given for the Premier League, because they were given to us when Arsenal reached the semi-final, right?
The semi-final, yeah.
So if those 5 teams are there, first remove the factor that Aston Villa is on the final of the Europa. Originally, if they were not, they would still go to the Champions League if they finished 5th, right?
Yeah.
So if you now add the other factor of them having Europe on the table, them losing Europe and them also staying in 5th means they can go to Europe. But if they do not stay 5th and then they go less down and they win the Europa,
that means that spot is already okay. I think I get it. So they only have to finish 5th. Chelsea fans will be out there. So Hazard doing some calculations.
Man, but Chelsea fans, Europe, you pray for conference.
There's a possibility England takes 7 teams, 6 teams in the Champions League, but all that depends on where Aston Villa finishes. If Bournemouth come and take that 5th position, forget. Regardless whether Aston Villa wins. So, Manchester City in action against Crystal Palace. A Crystal Palace team that did beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final, of course, for them to win a trophy in a very long time in their club's history. They're at home at the Etihad Stadium. I already mentioned, I feel like in the title race, home games are best suited for you. So Manchester City will go in a home game, incredible form. They're having Jeremy Doku. Now Manchester City. Manchester City have a title charge guy every season.
We always
now
have
Jeremy
a title
Doku
judge.
is the guy.
I think last season it was it?
Phil Foden?
No,
last season you weren't in a title charge.
We weren't in the title charge, but then we were trying to fight for Champions League.
To get Champions League football,
I think last season it was somehow Gundogan. Yeah, that was the only player that was showing up. Yeah, this season it is Jeremy Doku, because I do not know what Jeremy Doku is feeding on. I don't know what he's eating. But then Jeremy is proving. I think Pep Guardiola said if Jeremy Doku was as good at finishing as he is at getting into the box, he would be a very top winger in Europe. He would be a really good winger, but there's this thing in some set of players that I can beat my man, I can enter the box, and then I can find positions. Because in the Brentford game, you can see he reached the box, I
He's
think,
got
the most
into
times.
some good scoring form because I was trolling him. How he has 8 goals
He's now praying.
in 3 years.
He's now praying.
Now I think he has like what, 10, 11? I think now 11. Of course, those numbers in 3 years, those numbers are still very low. I think he's the chaos guy, really. He's not the guy to score a goal. So, Crystal Palace, I was listening to Glasner's press conference. He said he don't expect him to come and decide who wins the title because there have been 37 or 36 games played. Why do you want him to decide the 36 minutes? These guys have done their best, indicating that he may not be really on that Moyes thing because Moyes was really playing for his boy. He might not
be on Moyes.
Moyes was really playing for Arteta.
He was playing for Arteta, but then Oliver Glasner might choose this game as like a dress-up play, how you can be training for. I think they're playing Rayo in their final. He will not go so much into this game. He will not.
I have a feeling for both teams because the way he was saying is like people expect me to come in game week 36 and decide that this one will win the Premier League. I'm not that. I'm focused on Crystal Palace and Crystal Palace alone, and meaning that they're focused on the final. That could be in the history books for them, of course, as a club, and that would be important for them because they won a trophy last season. They're of course winning a trophy this season. He's going to leave regardless. But I do not think Crystal Palace are going to be that difficult for Manchester. Even after watching their game over the weekend, I think they drew 2-2.
2-2,
Was it to Everton?
No, they drew 1-1.
2-2.
1-1, 2-2.
Not 1-1. I think it was 2-2. It was such a high scoring game. So I don't think it's going to be a problem just by Glasner's. I don't know where he stands. He has beaten Manchester City in a final. Probably he knows how to work around with that. So, without wasting any time, predictions for that game.
I really feel we are not so much of a top going. Like we do not score a lot of late. We do not score a lot. We just want the 3 points. Man City is doing a lot of romance with the game. They play a bit around. They, get into the box. There's no one there to score. Things we used to do back in the day. So I feel like the most we can do with that game is like a 3-1.
3-1 high scoring. Which I don't have goal difference. Goal difference gonna be a good. The league is going down to points.
That is why I didn't. That is why I did not say anything about 4 goals. Because even if we scored 4 goals, reduce the deficit to 2. Then Arsenal play Burnley. What is the point?
I know. I think what is great and what Arsenal fans want to hear is that if Manchester City drop any point against Crystal Palace,
it is so done.
Arsenal just have to win the game against Burnley. And of course, it will be great to win the league at the Emirates Stadium because, of course, our last game is at Selhurst Park at Palace. But I think Manchester City, like they did for Brentford, of course, minus all those VAR things that they should have looked at. I think they're going to win that game, I think.
We are going to win the 2-1.
2-1 Manchester City. I know Arsenal fans wanted to come closer, but we need to push. By the way, we need to push pain to our haters. We need to push it. Don't want to win before again on the last day when they're still having hope. Can't you let them be banned?
Anyway, pain is still going to come, and then we are still hopeful. Do not lose hope, you people.
Hey.
Do not lose hope.
That is it. Don't say I don't want this thing. We have to win it at Burnley.
Do not be like me.
No. We want to take it. So let Manchester City win. I have no problem if Manchester City win their remaining 3 games because Arsenal is going to win those 2 and pretty much. Everton, thank you very much. David Moyes. Barry. Hey, the man of my dreams. That guy is everything. Barry is.
I do not know.
By the way,
I do not know where Everton has gotten.
If anyone asks me what's your type, Barry. That is it. That is it. Barry. That's a guy.
Barry is your type.
That is a guy. He's my type. That's my type.
Oh,
you know.
Where does Everton get the audacity to stop us from securing the title?
Devin Moyes. That's his boy. Arteta was his boy. Do you know that Devin Moyes? I know it was a difficult game at the Emirates against Everton, but tell me how he came to the Emirates Stadium without his 2 centre-backs. He didn't come with Braithwaite, he didn't come with Tarkowski, and those guys were fit. They did not say whether they had a problem with what. In the next game, very early, they were there.
David Moyes
so David Moyes,
we watandikira okugaba ekikopo. Ever since then, the nonsense you played.
Tarkowski. You can check, guys. And they were not sick.
I know. He didn't have those 2 centre-backs.
They weren't Sibanga personal issues because in the next game they were steady and ready. Thank you, David. You are the absolute
You are
best.
a snake, bro. You are a snake. If you see, you are a snake.
For the fans, by the fans, don't forget that we have the biggest watch party that they're ever going to give you, by the way, for the PSG versus Arsenal game.
Hate watch
that
party.
is on the 30th of this month, at the end of the month. Arsenal Football Club confirmed that their trophy parade is happening on the 31st. And we're going to follow you. Naffe bwetutyo. Oluva mu watch party enkya ku makya nga tukiyingira trophy parade. Whatever it
Trophy
is.
parade anyway ejja kubaako ekikopo kimu kyokka.
Ate kiriwa, this is a double winning season. These are the unforgettables, by the way.
No, double-
But it are the unforgettables. Well, we're on the course of witnessing Arsenal's best team in their whole history. The double winning team for Arsenal, the Gunners. For the fans, by the fans.